I call to order. I'd like to open the joint meeting and call the parish council meeting to order.
Call the city meeting to order.
All right, we welcome you to a special joint meeting of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council. As presiding officer and chair, I'd like to announce the following. This is a public hearing. To address the councils on any item on this agenda, please fill out the speaker form and submit it to our wonderful, fabulous clerk, Ms. Veronica Williams, who is seated all the way to my left. If you don't do so, you will not be given an opportunity to speak on that agenda item. Staff's assistance is available if needed. Items for submission to the council should be handed to Council Clerk Ms. Veronica Williams, who's seated all the way to my left. When addressing the council, state your name and title for the official record. There is a 5-minute rule that will be in effect. No debatement or confrontational statements will be allowed. The front row to my left is for media only. And lastly, no food or drinks are allowed in the auditorium, and we ask that you silence all cell phones and electronic devices. Meeting procedures are by resolution and not by Robert's Rules of Order. All documents with reference to meetings can be found on the LCG website. And finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards or commissions. If you're interested, please call 291-8800, 291-8800. Moving right along to chair announcements. There will be a special joint meeting of the Lafayette Parish Council and the Lafayette City Council at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, September 17th to consider final adoption of the fiscal year 2021 budget. UDC replacement public meetings will be held on September 22nd, the 23rd, and 24th of 2020. The following are specific times and locations for each date. Tuesday, September 22nd, 5 p.m., Como Recreation Center. Wednesday, September 23rd, 2 p.m., Clifton Chenier Town Hall. And Thursday, September 24th at 10 a.m. at West Regional Library. Due to election day requirements, the council meetings for November and December will be on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month, instead of the typical first and third Tuesdays. There will be an emergency joint meeting of the Lafayette Parish Council and the Lafayette City Council directly following this meeting. And just in, please note that item number 8, Joint Ordinance -079 2020, and related to the congestion ordinance, is being deferred indefinitely. Not seeing any other chair announcements at this time. Moving to council announcements. Councilman Rubin, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Right now, in the light of everything that's going on in our city and in our parish, I want everyone to take a moment to think about what I'm about to talk about. This COVID-19 situation has left a lot of people stuck in their homes, dormant. And mental illness is a very, very serious topic, guys. We don't look at it as much. There's a lot of things going on with this COVID-19. We're having a lot of domestic problems. We're having a lot of mental issues, especially within our children. So I'm asking everyone right now, take your time, pay attention to not only the people inside your home, pay attention to your neighbors and the children within your neighborhood. Pay attention to these people, guys. Because mental illness is a very serious issue with this coronavirus going on. We're in uncharted waters, guys. So please pay attention to mental illness if you don't mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Lazard, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I certainly
Hit your button, bro. Oh.
Am
Welcome back, by the way.
I good? I would simply second everything that Councilman Rubin said, for starters. On the deferral of the congestion ordinance, is there anybody here that was here to speak on that ordinance? Okay. I understand the policy and procedural part as it pertains to how we do things, but when somebody's here, when somebody take time out of their day, if you will, and express interest in what we're doing or attempting to do, I think to cut them off and not give them an opportunity to speak, I think it creates more problems than it solves. Just, for the record, and I understand the process, but for the record, I'm opposed to the deferral of this ordinance. And I just think that if we don't give people advance notice that we're going to be pulling something or deferring something, I think it creates problems. When people show up, take time out of their busy schedule to come and participate in this process, and we cut them off at the knees like that. So I'm not sure if we can allow them to speak, since we've deferred it. We can't? Okay, well, I guess we don't have a choice, but I think we need to seriously consider how we do things going forward.
They do have the opportunity on open mic or, forget what you call it, for the city meeting to definitely do that. On the public comments in regards to that. I think y'all have it tonight, matter of fact. Councilwoman Liz.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Lazard, you can still have the floor. I mean, y'all can vote. You
Oh,
can
I'm
go
sorry.
back
I
and,
didn't mean to interrupt, Glenn. Go, please finish. You sure?
well, you can talk back. I'm gonna leave your mic on, like if you wanna.
So I'm the council member that actually voted to defer this. As I've mentioned before in the past joint council meetings, I appreciate the merit and I appreciate the intention of this ordinance. I'm not comfortable with the way it is written as is. I feel like more discussion needs to take place in partnership with the Homeless Coalition, Catholic Charities, and any other organizations that focus on helping homelessness. Because I think there's definitely that factor there. I appreciate, again, what we are trying to accomplish, but we can't just say we're going to, whether it's, and I still have questions on what happens if we pick someone up. Do they go to jail? Do they go here? Do they go there? Do we just bring them to a different part of town? We're still waiting for those questions to be answered. So that's reason number one. Reason number two for me is it needs to be a partnership between us and the Homeless Coalition and all those other organizations, because we need to, as a city, if this is something we want to do and move forward with, we need to provide support to them. It can't just be completely up to them. And the mayor has said publicly and to me privately that he wants to provide financial support and policy and procedure support for this ordinance. I've sent emails to the organizations. Obviously, we've had a lot going on in Lafayette, so we haven't been able to set the meeting. So we are waiting, and why I voted to defer it indefinitely, it was to wait to schedule a meeting. I'm willing to give the mayor another chance to agree to a meeting, and so that's why I pulled to defer it. Again, I don't approve it the way it is written, but I think that we can certainly find a common ground and something that works for our local organizations. So again, the community, and I appreciate your opinion, Mr. Lazard, but we don't even know, if it's deferred indefinitely, we don't know if it will come back. We don't know. There's work to be done, so that's why we don't allow public comment, because it may not even move forward, or it may. We don't know, maybe come back as something different. So, but the public is certainly allowed to stay for the city council meeting and speak to their concerns on that if they would so choose. Thank you.
Councilman Lazard, you have the floor.
Yes, I would simply add that for the most part, the problem that we keep talking about, for the most part, it's along the Evangeline Thruway corridor and in the downtown area. And I can tell you that the interested parties that we keep talking about, you specifically mentioned Catholic Charities, and I would certainly include Arch as one of those interested parties, as well as DDA, because that's primarily where the problem occurs at. And I can tell you that each and every one of those organizations have specifically stated their objections to the ordinance. So my personal preference would be to, if we're going to submit a totally different ordinance, then that's what we should do. Let's just go ahead and kill this and have the administration or whomever, after those conversations have been held, submit an ordinance that's going to be enforceable and actually address the purported problem.
Okay. All right, kill it. Hit done. Okay. Ms. Hebert?
Nope, I already spoke.
Councilman Andy Nakane.
I just wanted to discuss, I know we're having a lot of frustration and issues with collection of the trash from the recent storm event from Laura. And it's requiring a lot of patience, and a lot of people are basically pointing fingers at Republic, but I understand there's an outside source other than Republic doing the collection. Am I correct in saying that? It's a company called DRC. And I think they're basically contracted through the federal government and dealing with the FEMA and the money's coming through them. So it's not Republic doing the collections. We have a company in there who's not familiar with the routes. So there are issues in dealing with things and things that's supposedly being done. So we asked that the residents of this city and parish in particular, when they do pile their yard waste from the hurricane on the side of the street, to please don't include household goods. Please don't include plywood, metal, anything that is other than a yard waste. It really convolutes the situation and makes it difficult for collection. It's going to slow the process. We have a company in here who does not know the routes, is not real familiar with everything, so anytime you start putting the wrong product in with the things you want picked up, it's going to make it even worse. So please clean out those basically disposables that are not yard waste away from the yard waste for proper collection. If the things are small enough to be containerized, I would suggest you do that, because Republic will pick that up in their normal routes. They still are making their recyclable routes. So if you can fit in a trash can or a plastic bag or a yard bag, please do so. It'll expedite the process in getting things cleaned up. I know that administration is trying to work with this other company to try to get things alleviated, all the problems resolved. Unfortunately, we don't have the company we normally deal with dealing with it. They have all the tools and resources to do it, and they know the routes, but this is not in our hands so much as it is in FEMA's hands. So, Ms. Sidra, would you like to comment on that at all? Do you have anything you wanted to add? I saw you were kind of informed.
Sure. No, I think you did a very good job of explaining it, and I was just going to add to it that, yes, we do have a debris contractor, a specific debris contractor working on it. There's two components of it. There's the collection and there's the monitoring of it. They actually start and build their schedule based on zones of the most densely populated areas where they see the storm debris specifically out, and so then they go out from there. So they do have, I believe, 6 trucks running on a daily route. So they're not dragging their feet. It just does take a little bit of time, and if you're in an area that wasn't most densely affected by Hurricane Laura, then you probably do feel like it's taking forever because they're not on your normal route. But I assure you, they are coming. You can certainly call 311 to voice your concern, or to submit a service request to make sure that you're on the list. But you did a very good job of explaining it.
But please keep in mind, I can't stress that enough, remove the household waste from your yard debris. That's very important to do that. Otherwise, it's never going to get collected. It needs to be separated. Please keep that in mind, and please containerize what you can. It'll help expedite the process for everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Councilwoman, Ms. Cook, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm just kind of chiming in back to the ordinance that was deferred, and, I respect both my council members, and I think we're pretty much going the same place. I think it's been deferred basically because we need more information There might have been a no vote because they were not comfortable with it. So I guess we're looking at it from two different angles, and I totally respect the fact that by deferring it, when people come to want to speak to it, I definitely understand that as well. But I guess, I was prepared to vote no because I was not comfortable with it. I'm prepared to support a deferral because, again, I'm still not comfortable with it. So we get to the same place, I guess is my point. So with a little bit more, diving into it, getting a little bit more information with respect to what legal was trying to do with it, I think we can all get to the same place, hopefully. But again, I guess I just wanted to, I live with a mediator, okay? I'm just playing mediator here. So we got to the middle point here, and I think we all agree with the fact that we need more information, and I think that's where we're headed. So that's where we're going to go with it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Councilman Lewis, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. On the deferment, I'd like to speak on that as well. I know there's a lot of people that are here to speak on the deferment, which they would happen not have that opportunity to speak on the deferment. When you look at the whole issue is about people that some people feel that they will do things in certain neighborhoods. And really, when you think about it, it's about certain people that they feel that should not be in certain neighborhoods. And that is not the fact. The fact is about deferring it to fix it a certain way. And I just want people to understand that. The deferment is about certain people. So no matter how you look at however we fix it when the deferment comes, look at it and see how it's going to be fixed. But I'm going to be watching it to make sure we're not penalizing certain people. I don't think I have to say that many times certain people. Homeless people, people that they don't want to see around the area. That's what it's about. Nothing more than that. And I respect every council person on this floor, the administration. You guys voted for us to do the right thing. So let's do the right thing. Are we doing the right thing? You decide that. Again, like Ms. Cook said, she respects what goes on, what we are doing, the way we're handling things. But sometimes it's not the proper way to do things. They have people out there reaching out to me that know very well they're supporting it, and I have a lot of people that's against it. Again, it's about people, the way they look, the way they dress. That's what it's about. So whenever you guys come up with the deferment, make the changes, do the right thing. From the administration to the council members. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Not seeing any other council announcements at this time, we'll move to the executive mayor's president's report. At this time, I'd like to recognize Mayor President. Mr. Gilroy, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing to add.
What's that?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Quick and short.
Quick and short.
All right. Okay, we're gonna move right along. Resolutions. This is a public hearing, and the speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 5-minute rule does apply. Gentlemen, please read the first resolution.
Joint Resolution 25, 2020. A joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council acknowledging receipt of and approving certain financial reports for fiscal year 2021 as submitted by Acadiana Open Channel Incorporated.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to consider from the Parish Council. Motion by Councilman Tabor and second by Councilman Carlson.
Okay, I need a motion from the city. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Liz Hebert.
All right, any council discussions on this resolution from anybody? Seeing none. Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, please call the vote from each council on the resolution.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes?
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yeah.
City 3, City 4, City 5. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Joint Resolution 26, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 109 South Bienville Street to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sale's anticipated costs.
Need a motion and a second from the Parish Council. Motion by Councilman A.B. Rubin and second by Councilman Carlson.
Motion from the city council? Motion by Ms. Hebert, second by Ms. Cook.
Okay. Any council discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Please call the vote on the council for the resolution.
Parish
Council.
2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4, City 5, City 1.
Yes.
Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Joint Resolution 27, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 520 East Main Street to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472202B for the price of the sale's anticipated costs.
Okay, need a motion and a second from the parish to consider. Motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman Carlson.
Motion from the city? Motion by Mr. Lazar, second by Ms. Hebert.
Okay, any council discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Williams, any comment?
No, sir.
Please roll.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4, City 5,
City 5.
City 1, City 2. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved. Joint Resolution 28, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council naming and designating the firm of Coder, Slavin and Company, LLC, as an independent auditors for the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government in accordance with Section 2-09 of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government Home Rule Charter.
Okay, need a motion and a second from the parish to consider. Motion by Councilman A.B. Rubin, second by Councilman Tabor.
Motion from city to accept. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook.
Okay, at this time, we'll move to council discussions, and City Councilman Lazard, you have the floor, sir.
How do we, see, how can I word this properly? I'm assuming we've been using Coder Slavin for some time, right? Do we ever, when we get ready to do this on a yearly basis, do we put out requests for proposals, or how do we do it?
So she can kind of explain the process. Thank you.
We have not done a request for proposal. This auditor was chosen prior to my coming to Lafayette. I think maybe the first audit was in 2009. And what we do is we enter into this resolution, into this agreement. We send it to the state, and the state legislative auditor has to actually approve it before they're allowed to do the engagement.
Do we ever give any consideration to any other firms? Or,
Not that I'm aware of, not since I've been here.
okay, so we just automatically, because they were here when we just automatically just kept them, basically. And the reason I'm asking these questions is because when we received the forensic audit on LUS, there were some issues that came forward in terms of whether or not some of the problems that occurred should have been caught by the auditors. So that's why I'm raising that issue. And I'm wondering if we've had any discussions with them about that, about the audit and the issues that were raised. in terms of whether or not they did their due diligence while that investigation was going on? That's the question.
I know I can give you my thoughts. I agree with your analysis there, and definitely some head scratching going on. This is what I would recommend, and tell me what you think. We can increase the dialogue. I think that the intent behind your thought process is making sure that we're looking at everybody and give everybody an opportunity. We had this discussion briefly as far as the quantity of firms that can handle a municipality the size of Lafayette. I think that's some consideration. I know we have some council members here that have served longer than I have, and maybe you guys can opine. I know our two chairs have, I believe you guys authored this resolution. I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts, just to kind of, not to put you on the spot, but I think Councilman Lazard raises some pretty valid questions, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think he's right on with his question and his concerns. You know, for me, I know that we needed to get one fairly quick, and the fact that they had been with us for many, many years, that was the only firm that basically had the background and had the experience and knew our government and how it operated with the different allocations and that, you know, not saying that in the future, maybe policy and procedures could change. But that's, you know, that's my understanding, and was told that we needed to have somebody, so, you know, really quick, because we were moving forward, and, you know, that's the truth. I mean, that's how it came about. I don't know the process. Ever since I've been on the council since 2000, I've been here 8 years, so since 2012, they have been the firm that has always did it. And typically, some of these things here normally would just get signed, I think, and never really came to the council to actually vote on. So I know that that's a change. Normally, the chairman, whoever it is at that time for the parish council or consolidated government would sign off on it, and it would get done. So moving forward, if that's something you guys would want to change, or the policy and procedures, I'm all open to that. I know that time is of essence, and to delay it would probably not be in the best interest of this government moving forward, considering all the moving parts and the finances and where we at. But that's how it came about. But I don't think there's nothing wrong with what you said or what you asked at all. You still have the floor. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. Pat, you want to chime in?
Yes, my experience with them, I come from government. I retired from the Lafayette Parish School Board for 26 years, and that's who we used. We never really had a problem with them. And I've been on the council for the last 4.5 years. And the question you are asking, you have to understand that, I'm not being sarcastic when I say understand, is that they are asked to provide legal auditing, as far as auditing our books. When this all came about with the LUS and all this other thing, that was different, and I don't think that was their responsibility as to find out if anyone was doing something illegal. The material that was brought in front of them by our staff, as far as our CEO, the things that they brought in front of them, that's what they inspected, and that's how it operates. We provide them the information, and they go through it, and if it looks solid, that's what they go by. But as far as seeing if anybody's doing something illegal, unless they come in front of them, then they have an obligation to notify us. But if someone is doing something that should not be doing something, they have no way of knowing it unless it's brought to their attention. I mean, they don't go and open up every desk drawer, every condenser, and see to find someone doing something illegal. They are there to make sure our books balance. That's their particular objection, is to make sure the book balance for our coming year. Now, I have no problem if you guys decide that we need to look for someone else, but basically, that's what they are paid for. If you look at their fees are to balance our budget, to make sure we are balancing it, not to make sure that anybody's doing something illegal unless it comes in front of their face. And that's my take on it. But again, I work with these people for about the last, I don't know how many years, and you know, when there was something being done illegal in the department where I worked at, it was brought to their attention. But they don't, financial advisors do not go and look for something wrongdoing unless it's depending on the books. And in this case that you are just talking about, I think is something different, you know, that it would not come in front of them unless it would have been brought to their attention.
Ms. Williams, as long as you've been here, for the record, how long have you been here?
27 and a half years.
So that's why you said earlier, maybe 3 years you're going to retire? I'm just joking.
I can retire now.
I know. It's, in the days that we've been
No,
having, I
I
don't
didn't say
blame you.
maybe, I might.
My question is, as long as you've been here in 27 years, how long has Calder and them been doing this?
I do recall maybe for about 15 years, for sure. It could be longer, but,
And typically, that has always came from administration on who they want to use from the audit, right?
yeah, but the audit is performed by the administration. I think they even have an office up there. So we don't know the parameters, and usually it's, if there is a resolution, there was one in 2008 that was submitted, and it was submitted by finance. Or they had two prior, and they were submitted by finance. The reason this one is on the agenda, and what they would do from year to year is just submit an engagement letter to continue on the services for one more year. And the chair of the then City-Parish Council would sign off on it. But this purposes, and for it to be on this agenda, the charter says that the council shall appoint jointly in joint session an auditor with the city council and the parish council. And because they were the auditors for the city-parish council, we had to put it on the agenda.
So there you go. So in the past, it never came in front of the deal. So it typically comes from the finance department in that area. So it's nothing that the council ever had really any say-so, so to speak. It's always come from finance, administration, and those chairmen at that point would just go and get it done for that year. I do know that the fees are the same, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Toops?
They agreed to keep the fees the same as last year.
Okay, so we have no increase in there. Okay. All
And I
right.
think they said they're on some type of timeline to get, you have to get the engagement letter. I think Lori just spoke about that, to the legislative auditor's office, the municipality, or the parish governing authorities have to appoint an auditor. Now, I mean, if you would like to put it back on, there's no prohibition against putting it back on next year and making the engagement letter for 1 year. So that would give you time to look at it further.
Right. And I think, Mr. Lazard, they do other municipalities as well in areas, so they have a lot of experience in dealing with it. So I take it maybe you had a different experience about it, but I'll give you the floor.
No,
I'm done.
I'm very familiar with the company, and Pat, in response to your comments, I wasn't accusing anybody of doing anything illegal. And I know what the role of the auditors are. Like I said, when we were presented with the LUS forensic audit report, there were some questions that were raised as to whether or not the auditors in this case performed their due diligence. There were some issues that were raised that they were of the impression should have been caught at one of the annual audits that occurred during that span that the investigation covered. So I'm simply raising a concern. That's all I'm doing. I'm certainly not going to vote against the resolution, and I have nothing against this particular company. I'm simply doing my due diligence. That's all.
Okay. Come.
I
Yes.
would have to agree with,
And hold on one second.
certainly.
Ms. Toops, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention to Mr. Lazard that there's two components for Lafayette Consolidated Government. Most governments just undergo an annual audit. That's what Burton Calder Champagne is going to do for us as our annual audit. The question for the forensic audit was a whole different set of obligations, and that was with the Fair Competition Act, and that is the attestation agreement. That's a separate set of procedures that they follow, and that's what was that was under question with the forensic audit. It is our intention to use Calder Champagne just for the annual audit and to use the car rigs for the attestation. So that kind of separates the duties there, and I think it should allow for a smoother flow forward. But as Ms. Williams said, if you are interested in just pursuing this for a one-year agreement, and we could go do a RFP or something like that for next year, we are certainly open to that. We don't have any problems with that at all.
Just keep in mind, when you go to RFP, the prices come up,
Yes, sir.
I'll go down.
so.
I-
Okay, Councilman Nakane, you have the floor, sir.
In many ways, I have to basically reiterate what Councilman Lazard said. There were some questions brought up that even though there were two separate audits, one for the City of Lafayette, one for the Utilities Department, that should have been caught, and it seems as though due diligence wasn't necessarily done in the audit dealing with fiber and the Fair Competition Act. And I, too, see that this, where it was a yearly basis, the contract, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct, Ms. Toops? It was a yearly
believe-
contract?
No, I believe that the audit engagement is usually entered into for the same term of office as the elected. So
So
you
for
are a
4
new
years.
group of elected officials. I believe it's a multi-year
That's
to
right,
go
4
through
years.
your term. So I guess it's 4 years.
And how much is the contract for per year?
I'm sorry, I don't have that amount right off.
You don't have that. Does anyone have that information?
I don't know if council members have this in front of them, and it is the engagement letter from Calder, Slavin and Company. And I think the amount that they provided for, and I don't know the exact amount, is the exact same amount that they've been charging for the last 4 years.
Which is, we
Laurie?
don't know that either. Okay.
$5. It's $5.
So do we have any idea how long they've been maintaining the same price for us?
No, sir.
We don't know that either.
No,
Okay.
I can certainly get that for you.
No, well, it's not going to be relevant, I guess, in many ways, except for the fact that I think there may be a possibility that there are some members sitting here at this table that would consider wanting to do an RFP in a year and look at different things. So I would like to make an amendment to make this contract agreement good through October 31st, 2021, and amend it accordingly to where we can look at this again next year and possibly consider an extension then. I didn't know if anybody would want to agree to that, but I'd like to bring that amendment forward. I know we need this company. We need to have somebody doing it now. We don't have time to look for anybody else. So it gives us 13 months or 10 months to, try to come up with a solution if we aren't comfortable with this. Personally, I have nothing against this company. I dealt with them 4 years prior. And I know that, and I understand that they can only give back what is put into them. It's like a computer. However, there were some due diligence problems that were brought up in the audit that possibly could have been caught, although that's not necessarily their job. They're only put out what comes in. So at this point, I'd like to make an amendment to make this contract good through October 31st, 2021.
I got you. I just want legal involved. Can we amend the contract without that third party being here? They have
Yes,
to-
I think you can amend it, or just make it the contract till the end of, but I need to see it with Laurie.
The only reason I'm saying this because they have to agree to that too.
They would have to agree to it after we vote on it, correct?
Right.
So
I just
we
want
can
to make,
vote on the amendment, approve it for another year.
We got legal back here that wants to chime in.
Oh, is that who that is?
I got
Thank
the
you,
button
Mr.
pressed.
Scott.
I got the button pressed, but it's not coming on. His mic's not coming on. And just to
ahead.
let you know that the money is, the cost of it is
Nice.
on page 9.
It's on page 9.
Page 9.
So, Mr. Chairman, All right, so I don't believe, I just reread the resolution. I didn't draft it, so, and I didn't review it. So based on my reading, I don't see anywhere in this resolution where it attaches a contract. This particular resolution, what you could do is make a motion to amend, and I'll give you the spaces where you might need to amend it, where you're desiring to appoint them, and we'll specifically amend the resolution to say for the fiscal years ending October 2020, October 31st, 2020, which we're going to need Ms. Toops to chime in to make sure that that would be the appropriate phrase so that it's a one-year engagement, right? So that's the way you could do it. And then if Calder Slavin doesn't agree to sign it, they can choose not to sign that one-year engagement. But you have done what you need to do, that the authority is, the appointment is for a one-year engagement.
I would agree with Ms. Toops in many ways that this is just strictly an audit of Lafayette City, you know, our city budget, our city books, et cetera. It has nothing to do with LUS or fiber, this audit. So obviously there were some people who are uncomfortable with this contract going 4 more years, so.
And not to cut you, what does that do for the parish council? If we use the same one, right? Okay, so your concern was on the city side.
I'm concerned with the whole council.
Okay, because there ain't much for him to audit in the parish.
I would want this.
It's very cut and dry.
Yeah.
He's the auditor for city-parish government.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just the whole
Look,
ball of wax.
I like what you're saying. My only concern, I'm not saying that's a deciding factor, would be how competitive would it be, and would it be driving the cost up at some
I'm not
point?
saying that we need to look for an RFP. I just think we might need to sit back and take a deep breath and see what happens.
Okay, well, I guess if we defer, or if you change it for 1 year, you're going to have to go to an RFP.
Well, we can go back to renew it again.
Yeah,
if we
you can
need to,
renew it
like we're
again
doing right
with
now.
another resolution.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have an amendment on the floor by Councilman Andy Nakhan to read the following. Go ahead, legal.
All right, so in the third whereas paragraph, after the words "for such purposes," you could add the phrase, and Ms. Toops, please chime in to confirm, it would be for the fiscal year ending October 31st, 2020.
2021,
No,
No,
20
2020.
2020,
that's this year.
right.
Right. That would be the one-year engagement for that one-year audit.
And you do the audit for the year before.
Is auditing.
That's why it must have been multiple years to.
All right?
So if we're in it through 2021, then they'd be auditing through 2021, correct?
Next,
Is what you're saying?
you would do the same thing next year in 2021. You would be, at
For
this time
2020.
period, appointing, whether it's Calder, Slavin, or somebody else, you know, 1 or more years at that point. But what you're doing tonight is for them to engage them for 1 year to do the fiscal year ending October 31st, 2020.
Okay.
Okay?
That would make sense.
So it would be, that phrase would be at the end of the third whereas paragraph, and then you will also need to insert a similar phrase at the end of section 2 of the resolution, where you actually establish that you designate and appoint them as private auditor to perform the duties set forth in section 209 of the charter for the fiscal year ending October 31st, 2020, is what you would add to the end of that section 2.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Escott, appreciate it.
Okay, so that's an amendment by Councilman Andy Nakhan. Is there a second on the city side? Second by Councilwoman Nanette Cook. So now my question is, does the parish need to offer the same in order to move forward?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second to? Motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman Carlson. So you have a motion and a second to,
And to follow up
Amendment.
on Councilmember Andy Nakhan's question on the amount is not to exceed $263,000. Okay,
okay?
you're welcome.
All right. Any other council discussion? Okay, not seeing none. Ms. Williams, any cards? Any public comment? Any public comment to speak on the amendment?
On the amendment for a one-year contract, Mr. Jerry Monroe, you want to speak to that? And we did have one citizen who did not wish to speak in opposition to the resolution.
That
State your name and title for the record,
my
sir.
name's Gary Monroe.
Oh, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong.
Well, you're fine. They get, as long as they put it on the checks right. It may shock you that I'm speaking on this item. I'm familiar with the RFP process. I like digging off in the city government's businesses. I like you. You're very inquisitive. So my question would be, for a company like this that's been doing business with what I consider the good old boy way for the last 15 years, and there are concerns about how they did the last audit, who monitors them? We're talking about $260,000 a year. Who monitors them? Now, I'm also concerned with the fact that some of you sitting up there say you're not familiar with the process. Well, you need to hurry up and get familiar with it, because that's what the people voted you in to do. That's your job. Now, what you really want me to do is you want me to go home, because I dug a little bit. And when we start talking about the way that you are awarding contracts, I'm concerned that the number of African-American small businesses are being excluded during your process. Should you create a separate department to make sure that they are actually included in that process? I also noticed when I had my team to dig into this process that, Mayor President, I like you, but you seem to have a lot of friends with a lot of contracts. And normally, when that type of thing is happening, no matter if you're city council or the mayor, that's where the money start getting played with. So I tell you what, I probably won't even burn on my time. When you play with taxpayers' money, I like to play with the feds. I like sending politicians to jail. Wouldn't be my first rodeo. So I think you might need to go back and look at your process, become familiarized with that process, because you remind me a lot of Houston with the Office of Business Opportunity and all the foolishness that they go through. It is important that you watch these companies, but the auditor making the mistakes, who monitors them? Who holds them accountable? And the biggest question, Mayor President, how many mistakes have they made in the past? So here's my thing. By the time I come back, I'll be able to tell you. Because I'm going to dig off into your business. Any one of y'all can loan me some money to go home? Because the longer I stay, the more I'm going to expose. And I'm going to expose it from the top to the bottom. That RFP process, even in the school system, is a joke. We know how that process works. We know the blackout periods and all that. We know we talking during the blackout periods when we shouldn't be. 263,000. And I got people saying they don't understand the process. I'm going to give you a class on it next time I come.
Next.
No other speakers.
No other speakers? All right. Okay, we need to go ahead and call for the vote on the amendment.
Parish 5?
Yes.
Parish 1?
Yes.
Parish 2?
Yes.
Parish 3?
Yes.
City 5?
Yes.
City 1?
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3? Yes. City 4? Yes. Motion to amend by the parish council is approved. Motion to amend by the city council is approved.
Okay. We'll move right along to ordinances for final adoption. Once again, oh, I'm sorry. We need to go ahead and now vote on the resolution as amended.
Parish 5?
Yeah, oh,
Yes, yes.
Parish 1?
Yes.
Parish 2?
yes.
Parish 3?
Yes.
City 5?
Yes.
City 1?
Yes.
City 2?
Yes.
City 3?
Yes.
City 4? Yes. Motion to adopt as amended by the parish council is approved. Motion to adopt as amended by the city council is approved.
All right, now we'll move to ordinance of final adoption. And once again, item 8 has been deferred indefinitely, so we'll move to number 9.
Joint Ordinance 81, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the transfer of $650,000 in community development block grant funds within the Community Development Department for the implementation of the Walker Road Drainage Improvements Project.
All right, need a motion and a second to consider from Parish Council. Motion by Councilman A.B. Rubin, second by Councilman Tabor.
Motion from the city council. Motion by Mr. Annette Nakane, second by Mr. Glenn Lazar.
All right, any council discussion? Seeing none. Ms. Williams, any comment?
No, sir?
Please call the vote from each council.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4, City 5. Motion to adopt by the parish council is approved. Motion to adopt by the city council is approved.
All right.
Joint Ordinance 82, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the city parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Lafayette Parish School Board to receive funds directed for use in construction of signage and lighting at school crosswalks and to amend the then current operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to account for receipt and expenditure of such funds.
All right, need a motion and a second to consider from the Parish Council. Motion by Councilman Carlson, second by Councilman A.B. Rubin.
Motion is second from the city.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Hebert, second by Ms. Cook.
Okay. Any council discussion? Seeing none. Woman Hebert, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. While I'm talking, I'm going to bring School Board Member Hannah Mason up. This is something that School Board Member Mason and I have been working on since she's been in office. She's a freshman school board member. Our districts overlap each other. The neighborhood that she represents, which is the Woodvale, Broadmoor, and LJ Alamon neighborhood, that's a major area where a lot of families are walking their kids to school. It's very walkable, bikeable. In fact, she walks her 3 kids or rides her bike every day to drop them off and pick them up. We partnered together to be able to allocate funding from the school board in order to get the flashing lights and get the crosswalks painted. That way it can be as safe as possible. I know that we all have speeding issues in all of our neighborhoods, but it's never us, right? It's never the people that live in the neighborhood. It's always people, it's never them. So, we want to also take the opportunity to remind everyone to please slow down in the school zones and on the roads, but more importantly, in the school zones. This is especially timely today because we almost had an incident in one of the crosswalks where a car almost hit a child trying to cross the street because he didn't yield for the child. There are tire marks on the ground. So Hannah and I have been working closely with Lafayette Parish Sheriff, Lafayette Police Department, and traffic to be able to make sure that we have crosswalk attendants at every single crosswalk to make sure we're keeping our kids safe. So thank you, Hannah, for partnering with your fellow school board members to allocate the funding in order to get this done. thanks Warren Abbott, even traffic, for helping us facilitate it. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you. Yes, we are looking from the audience. I don't know if you could hear it. She said, what about the north side?
Yep.
You know, even though I am representing District 8, this is something that I have talked with Timmy Chasson on, who has a lot of the schools on the north side. Our school zones, you know, as Lafayette has grown, we have much more traffic. I think this is something that we just need to re-examine, and I'm just so thankful for Liz's special attention and Warren Abbott for being open to re-examining some of the well, all the speed limits and the school zone lengths, you know, even at the schools that I represent, which is Woodville, Alamo, Broadmoor, and Milton. You know, Milton's are very nicely marked, but that's the state that had to mark theirs because it's a highway right there. So already Warren Abbott has gotten the crosswalk at West Bayou striped. And when I was talking with Timmy Chasson, the kids at Paul Bro are running across Pinhook, and there is no striping done there. So I just want to get all of the zones for our schools looking good, visible, because the incident this afternoon at Woodville was horrifying. And I'm so glad that I'm not here tonight after a terrible, even worse accident. So I just really would appreciate your support in supporting LPSS. You know, this truly takes a village to get our kids back to school safely. I'm very appreciative of, I've learned all the acronyms of the LPD, the LPSD, LCG, and of course my fellow board members who will be supporting any of the small additional funds that it may cost for getting the proper lighting, proper markings, and all of that sort of thing. So thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Hannah, and that's all I have, and I ask council members to support us on this. Appreciate it.
Okay. Councilman Andy Nakane.
Ms. Mason, I want to thank you for your comments and your time involved in this, and it's a very important issue because it's not about safety in any one area of town. It's about safety all over town, at all our school districts. It's very important. And a lot of people, I don't even think know what a crosswalk is.
No, I agree.
They have no idea. When you're driving down the street and you see big, wide, white lines painted with the direction of traffic across that whole street, that's a crosswalk. Any pedestrian at any time of day has the right of way in that crosswalk. A car is supposed to stop. Now, who are driving cars? Adults. Supposedly. They're supposed to stop at these crosswalks. Children don't understand that. They think they have the right of way. They know that's the law, that they're supposed to be able to cross safely at these crosswalks. They're all over town. The other day I stopped, the man was in a crosswalk. I stopped. He panicked. He couldn't believe I stopped. I waited for him to cross. The car next to me stopped because I stopped. It's very important when you see a pedestrian in these white crosswalks to stop, and that's north side, south side, east side, west side. It doesn't matter. It's all over town. I know Stellar Settings is very prevalent with those. They even have flashing lights. So this is going to make a big difference with these flashing lights, solar powered. It's going to be there forever. And I want to thank you and Ms. Hebert for your efforts to bring public safety to our children and an awareness to the adults who are driving behind the wheels of these cars to take note and make sure that they're careful when they're in these areas. It's very important to the lives of all our children.
Right. No, I appreciate your words, Mr. Nakane. You know, Lafayette is not typically your big walking town, and, you know, the general public, I feel.
Districts are.
Right. They don't
They are
realize,
in the areas of schools. Everybody
Right.
walks to the schools. I mean, I live right by Lafayette High. Foot
Right.
traffic all day long over there.
Right.
I mean, so it's very important to be aware. Thank you so much.
Right, and part of the signage that I'm requesting from Warren Abbott is to have a sign on the crosswalk that says cars must stop for pedestrians, because it's unfortunately, you know, not well known around here. So thank you so much.
Councilman Rubin.
I also appreciate what you guys are doing. So, Councilman Hebert, question. Are we working on trying to do this in all the different areas? Or are we just doing one particular area right now, or?
So whenever school board member Mason and I met with Warren, we said we want to do ours, this is our intention, but the intention is to do it all over, of course.
Okay.
This is something that was actually
Okay.
something that's been allowed to her. So she spearheaded this from the school board side, but it is going to be addressed parish-wide.
Yeah, well,
Yes, no, definitely.
because, you know, I'm familiar with this Pinhook area.
Yes, I went to
It's
Paulboro.
very bad.
It's terrible.
Oh, yes. And that's what I wanted to talk to the chief. Chief, why you here? I mean, you should have stayed outside.
Interim Chief Scott Morgan.
How you doing, Chief? I have a question for you. I know at the beginning of the year, they used to do this, but I haven't seen them as of yet, because I know the school just started. Policemen policing the school zones. You think maybe we can, because an incident like what Ms. Abear was talking about, someone's getting hit in a school zone. I think if we have a lot more police presence in the school zones, that'll make people get on that break a little more, because I tell you, coming out Pinhook, they're flying. So I would, you know, asking you, is there something we can do to try to increase the presence of the police in the school zones for a while to try to get the awareness?
Yeah, so that would be one of our objectives, and you got to understand that it involves personnel, how much personnel you have at the particular time. As you know, we have a few other things that will detract from some of those officers being placed on the road, may have a function in traffic, but we have to pull them for other details. Similar instance would be like the courthouse. We need a couple people over there. We have to spread them around. The least amount that we have to do that's extracurricular like that, then we can bring those officers back in, especially our traffic officers. And we do some blitz at the beginning of the school year. That is usually the objective. It's supposed to start on one date. It got pushed back to a different date. So it's not that we wouldn't want to do it. We just got to wait till we have all of our personnel. The more personnel we have, we can put them back into those school zones.
And Chief, I understand that 100%. This is just me and the way I am. I think that these kids are a priority, okay? So I would think that we would make that priority number 101 on the top of the list to try to get these people to slow down, because I don't want to see a kid dead in a crosswalk.
I agree, and I'll assess and try to focus on getting them into schools, because especially at the beginning of the year, we have to remind motorists of that. But it takes people. If you want to give me people, I'll take the more you can give me, the more people I can put on the road.
I get up in the morning, man. You gonna put me on the clock?
What's that?
Put me on the clock, I'll do it. I mean,
we are looking for crossing guards. It's one of the things that we need. It's not an easy assignment or detail for us to.
I had one question about that. I'm sorry, I'm over here. May I ask him a question? Okay, so we have been in contact via email, and they do know, all the departments know that we need our crossing guards, hired ASAP, and I really appreciate the attention to that. Where can people go to apply to be a crossing guard?
They can come to our website. They can come to the police department itself. They can give us a call. We have a recruiter that they can talk to.
Okay.
That will put in touch with the
So
particular person.
they can call the number, and because I looked at the website and I wasn't sure exactly which link. Are you familiar?
We would prefer them calling directly to
Call direct.
291-8600.
Hey.
That will give them directly to our recruiter can pass it on to them.
Thank you so much. I just
Okay.
wanted to point that out for the public.
All right. Okay. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Councilman Andy Nakane?
Just one more exclamation point. Put down the cell phones in the school zones, please. That's very important. I'm sure, Chief, you've seen that quite often.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's being attentive in school zones. It includes radios. Turn your radio down. Be attentive
Yeah.
when you're in those school
Be
zones.
attentive. Be attentive and be respectful of our children, of your children. It's very important. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Not seeing any other council discussion. Ms. Williams, any public comment? Please call the vote on each council on the ordinance.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
City 5,
Yes.
City 1.
Yes.
Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved.
Okay, moving to introductory ordinances, I'll ask for a motion and a second to consider intro and global items 11 and 12 from the parish council. Got a motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman A.B. Rubin.
From the city, items 1, 11 through 12 from the city council. Motion by Mr. Lazar, second by Mr. Nakane.
All right, gentlemen, please read.
Joint Ordinance 83, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating and capital budgets of the Lafayette City-Parish Consolidated Government by recognizing revenues in the amount of $520,000 received from the Federal Highway Administration, approving the use of existing funds in the amount of $130,000 for the required local match, appropriating within the Traffic, Roads, and Bridges Department Traffic Engineering Division for the Lafayette MPO Non-State Pavement Marking Project H7233. Joint Ordinance 84, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council providing for the abandonment of a portion of a utility servitude niche on Lot 37A1 of Avalon Subdivision located at 103 Grandmere Lane.
Okay, is there any comments from the public concerning the above introductory ordinances? All right. Please call the vote from each council to introduce in global.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4,
Yes.
City 5,
Yes.
City 1,
Yes.
City 2.
Yes.
Motion to introduce in globo by the Parish Council is approved. Motion to introduce in globo by the City Council is approved.
I adjourn the city council meeting.
I adjourn the joint meeting in the parish council meeting. I'd like to open the emergency joint meeting and call the emergency parish council meeting to order.
Call the city emergency council meeting to order.
All right, we'll move to emergency ordinance. This is a public hearing. Speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 5-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Ordinance 85, 2020. An emergency joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the transfer of $100,000 in Community Development Block Grant COVID funds and $300,000 in Home Investment Partnerships funds within the Community Development Department to Catholic Charities of Acadiana for the implementation of a tenant-based rental assistance program and a utilities assistance program.
All right, at this time, I'd like to ask legal to please explain the need for this emergency meeting and give clarification to the public. You ready? I'm just following what council clerk had put on my sheet. I'm just like the prompter. Our administration, can somebody explain what was the need for it or the reason?
It's COVID funds. It's an emergency ordinance to approve COVID funds for Catholic charities in light of the need for rental assistance and utility assistance.
This is what we've been discussing the last few
Okay. We know, I'm just following the sheet. There ain't no questions here. It's called a script, like if you work for the TV. All right, I need a motion and a second from the parish council to consider. Motion by Councilman Carlson, second by Councilman A.B. Rubin.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Ms. Cook.
Okay, all right. Ms. Williams, any public comment?
Yes, sir. Lee Rochelle?
Please state your name for the title, official record.
Hi, my name is Lee Rochelle, and I'm the Executive Director of ARCH, which is the Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homelessness and Housing. And I wanted to say thank you for considering this ordinance and for your hopeful support in providing the funds to meet the housing crisis, which is a growing crisis in our community. And just to let you all know that I'm available to answer any questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm not seeing any at this time. Any other public comment?
We did have one citizen who signed, no, I'm sorry, it's 10. It's 10 citizens in support of the ordinance. They did not wish to speak.
Okay. Please go ahead and call the vote from each council on the ordinance.
Parish 1,
Yes.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5, City 1,
Yes.
City 2, City 3,
Yes.
City 4, City 5. Motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. Motion to adopt by the City Council is approved.
Okay, we'll move to introductory ordinance. Chairman, please read.
Joint Ordinance 86, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council recognizing and ratifying the emergency appropriations authorized by emergency ordinance, Joint Ordinance 85, 2020, amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the transfer of $100,000 in Community Development Block Grant COVID funds and $300,000 in Home Investment Partnerships funds within the Community Development Department to Catholic Charities of Acadiana for the implementation of a tenant-based rental assistance program and utilities assistance program.
Okay, any comments from the public in regards to this? All right, need a motion and a second from the Parish Council. Motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman Carlson.
Motion and second from the city. Motion by Ms. Cook, second by Ms. Liz Bear.
All right, not seeing any public comment. Please go ahead and, no council discussion. Please call the vote.
Parish 2,
Yes.
Parish 3,
Yes.
Parish 5,
Yes.
Parish 1,
Yes.
City 2,
Yes.
City 3,
Yes.
City 4, City 5, City 1.
Yes.
Motion to introduce by the Parish Council is approved. Motion to introduce by the City Council is approved.
I adjourn the city emergency meeting.
I adjourn the emergency joint meeting and the emergency Parish Council meeting. Stay tuned to the Lafayette City Parish Council meeting. Stay tuned to the Lafayette City Council meeting.